Welcome to the Integrate This EdTech podcast. I'm Jeremy Mikla, and I'm fortunate to be joined with Lindy Hockenbary, who is going to share some of her experiences here with the conference and some of the sessions that she's had. And so I think that's where I want to start, Lindy. Like, how many ISTE conferences do you think that you've been to?
I think my first one was Atlanta in 2012, and I've been to almost every one since. I may have missed one or two since then. So what does that make? 14 years?
That's
so we'll say
math,
I've been to 12.
Right? I don't know.
I've been to 12 ISTEs.
A good dozen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got some knowledge
quite a
here,
lot.
you know what to look for.
There's a lot of people that have been coming since like the night before it was ISTE.
It was called NEC.
Yeah, like the
Yes.
90s, even like the 80s.
Yep.
So I can't compete with that, but I'm definitely not new to the ISTE scene.
Yeah, and that's great, but I think there's just something about it that keeps people coming back. What keeps you coming back year after year?
Oh, the people, the networking. I've already had this conversation with so many people. It's not the sessions, it's the having the random conversation in the expo hall or walking down the hall or in the media room or whatever it is, just making connections. It's all about knowing people, having that network built, and this is the place. If you're in EdTech, you need to be at ISTE.
Yeah, I think I was talking to someone last night at an event about that same thing, and I think they mentioned to me that this is where their tribe is. This is where they find their people, the like-minded people.
And it helps you, like, it's easy in education, especially right now. It's rough out there. It's easy to get down and get burnt out. And so you come here and you meet the like-minded people, and it just energizes you and like lifts you back up. That's why I wish more educators, teachers, school leaders could come to national conferences like this, because it's a morale boost, and we really need a morale boost in education.
And I think if you sell it too, that not only is it energizing, but think of all of the great content and material and connections that your people from your district are going to have when they come back, and how that's going to then trickle into the staffs at the buildings that they work in.
Yeah, you know, I had this conversation yesterday with a really good colleague, Tara Mangini. She teaches at Knox Gifted Academy in Arizona, and she's here with several of her team members. And I was saying to her, I've actually had the pleasure of visiting her classroom. She's great. I said, oh, you have several team members here. She said, yeah, our leadership wants that and supports that and understands that it's important to go to local, regional, state conferences, but to get to a national conference is a whole nother ballgame that opens your eyes to things that you don't get at the local level, and vice versa, right? They're both important. You need the local support and you need the national support.
Absolutely, which kind of leads me to, why I think part of why you're here too is you like to share what you do with others. And I know that you had some sessions already, is that right? And do you have one coming up yet?
Yes.
Okay,
I've had one, both.
Yep.
I had one yesterday.
Can you tell us about those?
Yes. So yesterday I talked all about using AI as a learning tool. And I started it off asking, what word do you think of when you hear using AI with students? And usually like safety concerns, scary, unsure, don't know where to start, all these things come up. And I use that as the bridge to go into some research about what AI in education is saying. Stanford AI Hub has this great research summary that kind of tells us that it's all about the tool, and that you need to pick tools that guide and not give the answer, like the Socratic method. And so then I kind of show them different tools, and I have a whole framework I built on how you got to choose the right tool. And then part 2 of the framework is it's all in how you use it. So they key instructional moments and short targeted bursts. Like, I think people, when they hear like using AI with students, they imagine us having students talking to a chatbot all day, or even like all period. No, like that's not the case at all. It's pulling out things like using it for the hook at the beginning of the lesson, or a personalized checkpoint, or getting students immediate feedback, 5 to 10 minutes max. So that was my session yesterday. That was the focus. Tomorrow I'm going to be in back-to-back playgrounds. So the morning I'm going to be doing vibe coding in the game-based learning playground, and we're going to be using Canva AI to vibe code basically game-based learning activities. So I created this cool mystery challenge that's all about the undercurrent is citing textual evidence is the standard, but it's all through like a mystery game. If that makes sense. And I vibe coded it in Canva in like 5 minutes. So they're going to be learning that. And then I will be making friendship bracelets in the game-based learning playground. So I have a friendship bracelet making kit. So totally random. It's like this cathartic experience of like you're surrounded by lights and crazy and tech everywhere, and then you get to do this very like analog experience of like building a friendship bracelet. So that's just fun. And again, networking, connecting. And then my last one tomorrow is e-textiles and wearable technology. So we're gonna build, it's the make and take playground. So the whole thing is you come, you make, you take it with you. So we're building an LED sequin project. So I have felt, they get to cut out a design, they have a little sewable LED sequin, they take conductive thread and they sew a circuit and they make a sewable circuit. So yeah, really fun.
So I think probably some people listening, you know, maybe they've been to the conference once or maybe they haven't yet been able to come at all. And you've been in this conference, you had a traditional setting session, but you've been talking about playgrounds here. Can you elaborate on what is a playground experience at ISTE like?
It's funny you said that because I said to my husband that I was presenting in the playgrounds and he was like, a playground?
Yeah.
And I'm like, not that kind of playground. So essentially an ISTE playground is you walk in and it's a fenced in area, I guess, kind of like a playground that kids play in. And there's a lot of tables in the middle of the room. And then in each corner, they typically have more of like a little bit of like a stage setup with a typical screen. And every playground's different, but they always have a common topic or theme in mind. So the first one is game-based learning. The second one is make and take. But there's also like, there was a digital storytelling playground I saw on the agenda. I mean, anything and everything. So you can go in and you just kind of choose your own adventure is a good way to describe the playground. So you can go to a table and you can spend 30 seconds at a table, or you can spend an hour at a table sewing an LED sequin if you want. Or you can go over to the corners of the room and you can have more of like a presentation style session. Sometimes they'll have posters around the edges of the playground. So yeah, they're just very like open learning.
And very hands-on, experiential stuff.
Have lots of very like, especially the tables, like go have conversations with the people running the tables.
Right, and more conversational, not a sit and get type of a learning experience, which I really appreciate getting to go around those different places. Have you spent much time in the expo hall?
I have been in the expo hall all day today.
Yes.
And I was in there quite a bit yesterday. Yes.
What's the best swag that you saw in the expo hall? Because you know, teachers like their swag.
It's right there. That bag right there is really fantastic. It was from the Adobe Aqua booth, and it's like a legit canvas bag. And here's the thing about bags in the expo hall. It used to be that every single booth had bags.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, take a bag, take a bag. You're like, I don't need any more bags. I got all the bags. Then nobody had bags. So then everybody was like, where do I find a bag? And now it's like settled in the middle where like there's a certain number of booths that have bags. So I was walking around with a pile of stuff, swag, and flyers in my hand, and the Adobe Aqua booth was like, I think you need a bag, and handed me this really awesome canvas one. Also, School AI is in that bag. They had a giant pencil, and I have one that I thought was like a squishy pencil, but this is an actual pencil. Like it actually is a wood pencil with charcoal that you can write with, and it's like about this big. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite swag so far.
That's cool.
love
And
the
you know,
swag.
to describe it, because you know it's an audio type program here, or we're not holding it on the camera anyway. It looks like it's set up to be like a coloring book on the outside, and like you could totally.
That's another
if you're
reason why I like
crafty,
it.
go and you could color that up quite a bit.
Which makes sense because it came from
totally does.
Adobe Aqua, and if you're not familiar, Adobe Aqua is like Adobe's new app. That's what you do. It's meant for like younger kids to go in, and there's lots of drawing and tracing and that kind of stuff. So I did like that part of it too, that it like fit the theme of their product.
So Lindy, is there anything else that you want to share about the conference experience that you think listeners might like to hear?
I would say if you can get here, get here. If you've never been to an ISTE, like I said, get here. And not even ISTE, get to a national conference. My recommendation to anybody that is new to ISTE especially, but any like larger national conference, is come in with a plan and come in with a focus. You need to know, like, I want to focus on learning this, or I'm going to focus on looking for a solution to this, and then build your schedule ahead of time. I was just talking to somebody at lunch that said yesterday he had a really solid plan, had a very productive day, and then of course late night socials last night. He didn't make his plan for today, and he said, I feel like I'm just like fumbling around and doing nothing productive because I didn't have a plan. And I'm like, yes, that's the problem, because at a huge conference like this, you have to know, like, I'm going to focus on whatever it is, the expo hall, going to sessions of this topic, knowing what type of sessions you like to go to. Like, a lot of people love the posters. I'm not a big poster person, so I just don't even filter. I just unfilter for posters when I'm searching the app. So that's the key to conquering ISTE, is have a plan. And I know I'm a type A person, type B people that might send you over the edge. It doesn't have to be a minute by minute agenda. It just needs to be a general idea of
Make
what
a
you're going to
plan,
do.
but be flexible within that plan.
Well, that does happen too, that you might go to a session and maybe it's full.
Yep.
So you need to have a right. Yeah.
Or you don't realize that one session to the next session is on opposite ends of the conference place, and you'd never make it there in time.
Right, but what you can't do is 5 minutes before a session starts, you can't start looking through all of the options for that next hour, because there's literally 100, would you say? I mean, is that overestimating the number of options?
Yeah, I think I saw a stat. There's over 2,000 different sessions at the conference.
Yeah, so I mean, that makes sense. About every hour, you have like 100 different options to choose from. So you can't, in 5 minutes, start filtering through 100 different options to choose where you're going to be at that given next hour.
Right.
You need to have filtered it down to a few options.
So Lindy, what's coming up for you after the conference? You know, do you have other events that are on your calendar? Do you have any resources that you want to share with the viewers and the listeners and stuff? So,
well, I will say anything and everything Lindy Hock is on my website. So lindyhock.com, LINDYHOC.com. So think of the Lindy Hop dance and just do a C instead of a P is the trick there. So I put out tons of content for educators, blog, podcast, all of the things, infographics, all of the things. And then you can also find my event schedule on there. I am headed to the July 4th holiday as soon as I get home. I live in Montana, and so we cherish any summer weekend that we can have in Montana, because when you have 9 months of winter, you live for the summer. So that's a big deal.
We're in Minnesota, so
okay,
we get that.
You get it, Minnesota, yes. So I will be heading into 4th of July holiday. I'm going to be unplugging, going into the mountains in Montana, so that'll be fun. After that, I am in San Jose at the Adobe Innovator Summit for a few days in San Jose, California. I fly from San Jose to Philly, and I'm going to the Gateway AI Summit, and I'm a featured speaker there. It's like July 23rd,
you still
22nd.
have a busy summer ahead of you.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm glad that you're able to take the time to unplug here after this conference to recharge those batteries.
It's nonstop. Like, I get 1 week off next week. Not off, 1 week to prepare for then. It's already back to school season.
Yeah.
And schools are starting earlier and earlier and earlier. So yeah, I pretty much start like middle of July and just go nonstop till end of August. So yeah.
Well, Lindy, we really appreciate having you on. Thanks for joining us. Good luck with the sessions, the playgrounds that you have going on tomorrow, and look forward to hearing from you again.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.